Hey, Andrew from Ozito. We're here to do an upcycle project today. We're going to turn an old pallet, which was going to go to waste, into a dog bed for a really cute little puppy. So we've got a few tools we'll need for this. Is a drill driver, an impact driver, a sander, a reciprocating saw, and a circular saw. And these are all cordless and run off the one battery, and a bunch of hand tools, and we'll make it happen. So our first step is to grab a pallet, which used to take some cargo from all over Australia, I would suggest. First port of call will be to rip this board off and move it over 25mm because it doesn't line up with the board underneath. You will need one of these. It's one of the best things I invested in a long time ago. We start at one end. It's going to be a little bit noisy, but yeah. Give it a tap there, give it a little lift, and it pops up. And because we've got the rustic look, we're not going to get the taper measure out too much today. We're just going to roughly line it up, and we've already got nails in it. So we're now going to get out the reciprocating saw. This is basically like a big jigsaw, so you've got a base plate there, except it's a really cool big blade, enables you to do bigger cuts. We're going to decide roughly what size our dog bed is. In this case, we're going to do it for a small to slightly medium dog. So a small dog bed would be about this big. It may even pay to design it around the cushion that you might want to put on it later. First thing we need to do is cut this off to get it down to that square size. So we're going to need to cut through here, and here, and here. And this machine is the one that's going to do it for us. Ready, set, go. And you can see here that our dog bed, if we cut that through there, that then becomes the size of our dog bed. This piece of timber through the middle, we can use that as our guide. The beauty of this is this was already a structure, so now it looks kind of like a mini pallet. So from this point, we need to really create some legs on the side to create a bit of a border around there. It's now time to rip apart the pallet, and this is the fun part, because all the rest of that pallet that we've just cut off becomes the rest of our structure. Try and get the boards into nice full lengths without busting them. We may bust a few along the way, but that's okay. I love smashing up pallets. And this is now going to be materials for the rest of our project. Before we do that, we probably need to take all these old nails out. They've been pretty much done their job for their time. So best thing to do is clamp it off on the side of a bench. The way it was hit in prior was from the other side, so all you do is turn it over, give it a hit on the other side. If you do get a bend over, the best thing to do is try and straighten it. So with a pair of pliers, straighten it up. Use the claw on our hammer and leverage back towards the longest length of the board always. So that's where you get your best leverage. So there we go, there's all our materials for our new dog bed. We need to create our posts on the corners of our dog bed, so we'll get these thicker pieces here. And because we're really going for that rustic look, we're looking at not doing too much measuring. I'm going to pretty much say roughly about half here, put a line here about half. Something that's got a straight edge. This could be a piece of timber. Halfway through. There's the 4 corner posts that we need. Okay, so now it's time to bring back the base. This is where you kind of decide how big's the dog and how big do I want these walls. Now we've got all these boards over here, so often when you've got pallets, they're all different widths and shapes and sizes, so this is where you get to design the look of your dog bed. Lining it up, do we want a thin one, a thick one? So I guess that kind of highlights the gaps that we might want to have in our timber. You can do any pattern you like, you could trim them down to be even skinnier if you wish. We can grab our pencil and go, okay, the top of our dog bed will be that height. Let's get our posts to be all the same as that one. Line up our line, when we're happy, go ahead and cut. So we've decided that's the height of our post. Let's create 4 of them. We've got our posts, we need to fix them to our bed. We'll need a drill driver. Often better to use a pilot hole when you're drilling into older timbers, just because you don't know what their stress levels are and what sort of life they've had. If you can pilot hole it first, you're less likely to get them to crack up. So we probably want 2 so it doesn't fall over. 1 pilot hole. There's our second one. Grab some fairly lengthy screws, something that's going to go through the timber and a little bit into the other timber. And with the impact driver with the extra power, it'll drive fairly deep into the timber. Okay, so now we have a 4-poster bed, if you like. All we really need to do is grab our panels, decide what order they're going to go in, grab our pencil, and draw a line at the back there. On the offcut, we can call this one base. On this one, once we're happy, draw a line on that one. On the offcut end, we can call this middle. We can call that top. Let's just carve them up. And it kind of looks like our panels there. I may even lift this a little bit up off the bottom there to close up those gaps, I think. We're going to screw them off in a sec, so let's get ready for that. As we're after the rustic look, I've pre-drilled all these holes here. We don't need to do any measuring for rustic look. All we then need to do is some pre-drilling pilot holes. But you can sand this right back to be like a dressed pine. But in this situation, I just like a little bit of a rough up. Got an 80 grit paper on there, fairly coarse, and we get into it. So here we have it, we have our finished result, putting something in there that's just like a drawer, put the fascia board and screw it directly onto the drawer. So here we have it, the finished result. We've screwed on all the boards around the side, and now we've got our fascia board on the front with the drawer. We pretty much need a little puppy dog to put in here. Shay, do you want to bring one over? Who's this little guy?
Lenny.
Lenny? We've got a sign here for him for his name. We've got one of those right there. He really does sound anxious, like he wants to get on there. Do you want to see if he gets on there for us? That's perfect, buddy. I guess you love this bed too. Do you think he likes it?
I think he loves it.
Lenny loves it, Shay loves it, I love it. And if you need the details for this, you can see it on our website. And I hope to see you in the next video.